Thanks for staying with us. Still have our guest with us, Dr. Adamu Abdullahi. Please had one more question.
Okay, Dr. Adamu, on this pricing issue, I'm a bit more concerned because we know that in different locations, prices are usually different. For instance, you buy a bottle of Coca-Cola in one place, you go to another place, it's a different amount of money, yet another place, a different amount of money, which is determined by likely the area, the neighborhood that you find this. Now, how do we come to a place where we understand that the pricing is okay based off of that area? Or do we now report them that their prices are different based off of their area?
It is the same thing that happened in the electricity sector, if you have noticed. You have band A, B, C, D, and this is based on the kind of power supply that you get. So in the same manner, yes, areas can decide the amount that you pay for a bottle of Coca-Cola because of the fact that it may cost more for electricity at that location. In the same manner, shops may be more expensive to rent in those locations. There are many factors that come into it. So as I told you earlier, this is a scientific thing that has to be based on reality and based on calculations. Very clear, we don't determine prices. We don't tell people at what cost to sell their products. All we can do is to make sure that there is fair pricing across markets and there is no abuse of any dominant position in case your position is dominant in that market. We make sure that there's fairness in whatever it is that you do. That's where our job ends. We don't determine prices. We don't.
The point of discrimination, because before you came on, we had a comment saying about Nigerians being discriminated against, especially when they enter a restaurant. So, for example, you go into an Asian restaurant, you go into an Indian restaurant, or even a Lebanese restaurant, where you come into the place and you're not attended to for different reasons. And many, they seem to relegate Nigerians to the background and focus on the foreign nationals to attend to. In that kind of situation, speaking to your assignment as a Consumer Protection Commission, how do you protect Nigerians in these situations where they enter places where they are discriminated against?
We have made it clear from the beginning, and if you go through the records, back in 2022, this same commission did something like this in Lagos, where a restaurant was discriminatory based on which we sealed that restaurant. In the same manner, all we wait for is comments or complaints from various consumers of goods and services. Once we give out that complaint, we go into that and investigate. Once we find anybody culpable, I give you assurance that we have never failed in our duties. We don't shy away from our duties. We do what we are supposed to do. Discrimination is not allowed in any market, and we make sure that we apply the full wrath of the law when such things happen. We don't take it lightly when things happen against our own people. Our essence is to protect consumers, and there is no way we can allow discriminatory practices against our own people in our own country. It will not happen. As I told you earlier, even in the case of the Chinese restaurant that was only reported yesterday, we're already on it. In fact, right now, our operatives, if they are not at that supermarket, they will be on their way there to go and find out what's going on, and if we find them culpable, we'll do what we are supposed to do.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to know what policies does the FCCPC currently have on ground, or policies that you think could be implemented to ensure that we're able to incentivize, number one, new entrants into the market so that we can continue to, have a balance of scale in some sense in terms of competitive pricing, and also to incentivize compliance, because I find that sometimes it's almost like it's only when we take a cane to the horse that the horse starts to move. Are there ways you also think that we can incentivize current market players to ensure earnest and wholehearted compliance with pricing mechanisms?
Okay, one of the things we found out when we did our market surveys, because we didn't go into this thing blindly, we made sure first and foremost that we did surveys and found out what were mitigating factors in this markets at the moment. One of the things we found out is that most product sellers have formed themselves into associations, and these associations more or less fix prices. that is against the law. They have formed themselves into more or less cartels, so that by the time you bring products into the market, even offloading it itself is something that they have to supervise and agree to. Otherwise, you go back with your product. You have to belong to that association, otherwise you cannot sell in that market. So these are eye-openers for us when we went to the market in Masaka, as I said last week. And we really identified that there are associations for all the products in the market, Egg Sellers Association, Yam Sellers Association, what have you. So we have started talking to all these market associations and telling them that what they are doing is against the law. And I give assurances that very soon things have to change, because we have summoned them to our office. They will come, we will sit down and read out the riot act to them and tell them that what they are doing is wrong and it is distorting the market. They must allow new entrants into that market. If you and I now farm our own produce, whether it is poultry or fish, and we try to get in the market to go and sell, they tell you that you have to be in that association or that or the other before you can even go to the market. Meanwhile, that's not allowed. We will not continue to allow that. We'll have to work with the local governments. We'll have to work with the FCT administration and find out how we are going to break those associations. In the same manner, as I said earlier, we are going to markets in Taraba and Benue as a beginning next week. And when we do that and find out such practices also going on, we'll make sure that we go ahead and dissolve and stop those practices. When we come to Lagos too, that's what we do all over the country. That's what we have decided, that that's the way out. It's only through allowing new entrants in the market that prices will come down, because these people now dictate prices and will not allow that thing to continue. We give assurance again.
Throw in this question. So let's say, personally, I have bought 3 toothpaste. I won't mention the brand that I found out were fake. I bought it from 3 different supermarkets, and because I've been using that brand for about over 5 years now, I knew it tasted different, and there were consistency, the same taste. So it seems like there's an influx of that particular brand in its fake format in the market. Now I bought that same brand from someone abroad, and the person brought it in, and I found the original taste I was used to before. How do I then ensure that I get value, because I've wasted money buying like 6 of this toothpaste already? And how can I be protected as a consumer to prevent other consumers from falling into that same thing?
I didn't get that. You have to go over it again, please.
Okay, I bought a fake toothpaste. I bought the same toothpaste from 3 different stores in multiple amounts, found out they were all fake. They looked like they were the real things, but they were fake from the taste. And I want to be able to protect myself. How do I report it to you, and how can I prevent other customers from falling into that same place?
Okay, we have an app, first and foremost, that you can go either to supermarket or to Google or App Store and download. Or you can go to any of our social media platforms at FCCPC. You can also go to our website, www.fccpc.gov.ng. And you can also report physically to any of our offices nationwide. The zone offices I've already mentioned, plus the state offices in both Lagos and Kano, as well as our head office here on 23 Jimmy Carter Street in Abuja. We take physical complaints too. Our complaint portal is something that we are very proud of. It's something that has been on and up and doing. And once you download that app, or you come into our www.fcc.gov.ng and lodge your complaint, you get an immediate acknowledgement, and your complaint will be looked into, and we make sure that we resolve it. We have kept niche for ourselves over time, and it can only get better, because whenever we get any complaint, we take it very seriously and we pursue it as logical conclusion.
All right, let me jump in with this question, Dr. Abdullahi. This is our final question for this morning. You said something earlier about Stallion brand for rice. So you're saying that Stallion is no longer in existence, and you still saw the bags in the stores. And we can also compare this to other brands that have, other international brands that have left Nigeria. For example, GSK left the country, and some of their products are still selling. So how do we know the brands that are legitimately supposed to be sold on the shelves? Does your app say that? Aside from reporting brands, does your app or your website gives us information on which brands we shouldn't be seeing on the shelves anymore, at least from Nigeria?
What we are saying is anything that's false, misleading, or deceptive, and you know that it is fake, and you report to us that this thing is fake. We already have an MOU with NAFDAC. NAFDAC is into that space. SON is something that's is an organization that we belong to the same ministry with. We always work together with. So we give these things we take these things very, very seriously. Fake products must not be allowed in this country, and more or less they've taken over. So once you give us the information, we go ahead, and our act gives us the power to go ahead and evacuate. In fact, the issue of the stallion rice, that's what we did. We evacuated the 97 bags of rice that we found in that supermarket immediately. And whenever we have information of any fake products, what we first of all do is to evacuate those products from that market. And if you have any information, please give it to me now, and I give you assurance we'll go ahead and pursue them, find out where these products are, get to the root of it, and find out who is even manufacturing, seal up the factory, and make sure that it doesn't keep producing and they don't keep misleading and deceiving Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullahi. We have to let you go, but we really appreciate you being here this morning to shed light on the pricing, the consumer pricing and protection of Nigerians. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a few comments on social media before we run off. I know I had one from Engineer Ajibola Tijani. He was saying that, good morning, Moira, it is outright wrong to rubbish Nigerians in our own country, irrespective of what few people are doing. A retail store is a public space for all, and what every supermarket should do is to install CCTV and employ trusted security company to help in protecting their businesses from shoplifters. Imagine some people whose children are dependent on products like allergic products, that due to allergies. Shoplifters exist in every country, and superstores do not discriminate their own people as a result of such menace. So that's a good feedback for many of these stores. Any other one?
Amnam says, all these market association unions are criminals for setting prices. I should be able to sell the produce cheaper or higher. They can't just set the price. Corey Michael says, I think GSK has not entirely exited the Nigerian market. They just stopped manufacturing in Nigeria due to harsh conditions, but still import products.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.